This is Coach's Corner.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College and underwritten by the fine folks over at Sweet Bay. So Coach Robinson and I are going to talk about volleyball. A lot going on. 5-9 overall, 0-4 in the Panhandle Conference. But before we really talk about a lot of games, let's talk just a minute about it. This is a team with 8 freshmen, 4 sophomores, and a team that also missed several games due to weather and a lot of things going on. So how has that affected the team, Coach?
Well, we had about a week off. So with the campus being closed, we were supposed to have a home tournament, which canceled out 2 home games and then canceled out an away game. So the 2 home games that we were going to play were against some really good teams that would have been some really good practice for our upcoming conference. But having the week off it kind of hurt us a little bit.
And so now, for a coach of a young team, there's good and bad. It's good for next year.
Right.
The bad is they're young, but they have to come along because there's a difference between playing high school ball and college ball.
Absolutely.
And you got 8 freshmen now. You've got some good ones.
I do.
And some of them are playing well. The Twins played well the other night, and so they're coming along. But 8 freshmen, that makes it a little challenging too, don't it?
It does. It's a lot different pace than high school ball. It's they're used to getting kills off of every swing, and I mean you're up against some really good blockers at the college level, so it's a lot different. The defense, everyone's picking up balls, and so you can't just go up and swing anywhere you want now. You actually have to place the ball, and that's something that we've been trying to work on. And 8 freshmen is a lot, especially with 4 returning sophomores, but only 2 are starting, or 3 are starting. So it's a lot. They get along well off the court, but we're still trying to find that chemistry on the court.
And chemistry and timing comes from games and minutes.
Right.
Because you can practice a lot, but until you put somebody else on the other side of the net.
Absolutely.
And that's where missing those games and that chemistry on the floor, okay, I know they're going to hear their tendencies and those kind of things.
Right.
And I think that's had some effect this year.
I think so too. What we're going to be doing from now on is I have a couple women that I've played with, so we're going to kind of, instead of them scrimmaging each other during practice, we're going to get some more, some different swingers, some different blockers to really kind of help us grow, because we need to at this point.
And so, and sometimes it's hard in practice to put the same pressure and the same size and the same speed, and most coaches fight that when they're coaching, because you just can't. You can try, but you can get close, but not the same as bringing in a team.
Right.
So, now, we're going to back up, because right now we're doing every other week. So we're going to back up in the Panhandle Conference, which now has 5 teams in it. Last year it was only 2, us and Pensacola. So the Panhandle Conference is expanded and changed this year also. Against some teams, like you said last time, you were already playing. So we're going to back up, and you went over and played Santa Fe at their place to open the Panhandle Conference. They won 3-1. First set, 25-16. The second set, Lady Commodores won 25-19. They won 25-20, and then in the fourth set, 25-18. So opening on the road, Panhandle Conference game. Thoughts of that game, Coach?
Our defense played really well. We were getting up a lot of balls, and I would look at a ball and thought it would hit the ground, and then you can see Mary or Bree just diving for the ball and picking up balls. And our defense played really well, but our offense, it wasn't as good as our defense. So I think it was a really good opener. We took a game from them, and we now see that we're able to compete with them, and I think we could beat them. It's just the consistency of the team right now. We've got to find that.
So, and like you said, picking up one, you opened on the road against a team right now that's 3-1 in the Panhandle Conference. So, that's a pretty caliber team, good caliber team in our league right now.
Absolutely.
So, So, and then it looks like we traveled over to Florida State College at Jacksonville. Now here's a team that's ranked 6th in state coaches poll and receiving votes in the national poll. So that's the caliber of the team there. They've traditionally have always had a good women's volleyball program.
Yes.
And so lost 3-0, 25-17, 27-25, and 25-15. So.
That game, it was different. I've never played a conference game in a tournament-like situation. We had a lot of calls and that just didn't go our way. It just wasn't very consistent with the refs or us. We should have taken the second game, and there were a couple calls that we lost momentum off of. But this team is they're very solid. They have 2 good middles, really, and but we're, like I said, against Santa Fe, we're capable of beating any of these conference teams. We've just got to find our consistency first.
So, and then we played a non-conference game here in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse, won 3-0 against Concordia College, 25-7, 25-11, 25-13. And here's a game where you get a lot of minutes for a lot of players.
Right. Every player got to play that night. It's not necessarily something, that I want to do, or I should say, it doesn't really help us for conference beating this team the way we did, the 25-7. It's not really a good competition for us getting ready. Yes, it's more touches on the ball, but it doesn't really challenge us in the way that we should be challenged.
And so, and when you look at schedules and stuff, in the scheduling part, in high school ball, I used to say there would be 2 sets of schedules. One you brag about, and one you hang on the wall.
Right.
The one you brag about goes away. The ones you hang on the wall do not go away, and those more caliber teams push you harder.
Absolutely.
May not get that, but it gets you ready for the panel conference.
Absolutely.
So, and then we traveled over to Pensacola. Now, Pensacola and Lady Commodores have played against each other for years, and used to. We played each other the best of 5, and the winner went on to the state tournament. And they won 3-1. They won the first set 25-22, and then second 25-21. Lady Commodores come back 25-22 in the third set, and 25-17. So Lady Commodores, you're starting to see a pattern. They can get one of these, but you got to find a way to start tying 2 and 3 together to where you can get wins, because technically there's still enough games to get to the state tournament.
Right.
But they have to find that chemistry and that time together.
Right.
So Pensacola's a tough place to play. So.
It is. It is. It's nothing new for the sophomores playing, so I mean it's brand new for the freshmen. But our consistency isn't there, and I think a lot of the times it just feels like we're almost satisfied by just taking one game, because we seem to do that quite often, and I know that's not the case. It's just our consistency and our volleyball IQ. It's placing the ball where we need to, not swinging, changing up the plays and what we're running. So. We played pretty well. I think we could have played better, but they're beatable, absolutely.
And one of the things I'm noticing in your schedule, I used to do this. All my district games I opened on the road. That way I can see them get that over with, and then I'd play second half of the season. I'd be at home. Intentionally done that way, or just worked out in the schedule?
It actually worked out in the schedule for us to have the rest of our home games be conference, except for St. John's River. We played them away, but Jose, St. John's River coach, is the one who proposed the schedule, and that's just kind of how our scheduling fell into place. But I actually really like it. I think it gives us the benefit. So I
believe that too, because you've been on the road, you played them, you know what to expect.
Exactly.
And normally you play a little better at home, you know, so there shouldn't be any surprises. So now, Friday night, we played St. John's River State College, 3-1. Actually, we opened.
He opened with the one.
You know, 25-22. I thought, as listening to it on the radio, I thought, okay, they're going to put this one together. And then they came back in the second, 25-20, and they got the third 25-18, and then in the fourth 25-14. So, but they opened with one,
Right.
and you know, and volleyball seems to be like basketball. There's a game of emotions and runs and streaks, and sometimes somebody's going to make a run, and you just have to wait and weather it, and then make a run. It also sounded like the Twins played pretty well for you.
They did. We had a couple inconsistent errors where we would just dink the ball or tip the ball like 4 times in a row, and we weren't changing up what we needed to, and they were camping out, waiting on us. So they were picking up, they were seeing what we were doing. So we've got to be better at switching up our plays and switching up our hitters, who's hitting the ball. And I thought the same thing too when we opened up. We won. I thought we had some great momentum, and then all of a sudden it kind of just dropped out of nowhere, and it just happened. So it's like, you know, sometimes in softball it just depends on who's hitting well that day or which team's hitting better. So that's kind of, with volleyball, it's who's on or who's not.
And last year you had a little barrel that was short. It seemed to be the floor general. She seemed to really push that team in. When they needed a spark, she got it out of them.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things that with 8 freshmen and 4 sophomores, somebody needs to really be the floor general to say,
Right.
okay, let's get together, let's pull, let's do that. And I think last year you had that piece.
Yes, Tessa, she absolutely was our floor general. She got them fired up when we needed to, and that energy was constant on the floor. And I keep telling them, you know, someone needs to step up and be a leader and pick up the team's energy and intensity. And it starts with one person, because attitude is like a wildfire. So one person getting overly excited about a play, then everyone gets up. So it's just like when someone gets down, everyone else comes down. But I agree. I definitely think we need that one person bringing up the energy on the floor.
So and quickly, we got some games coming up. Thursday, you'll travel over and play Coastal Alabama East, which used to be
Jeff Davis.
And so what do we know about them?
Well, we beat them in 3 last time. They've got one good outside hitter, Gianna Matthews. She's from Chipley, so I've seen her play a few times, and the girls have played against her scrimmages over the summer in open gyms, and so they know what to do in this game. And
so and since we're doing things every other week, we'll briefly talk about the games, and then on the 10th, we'll play Coastal Alabama South here in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse,
Yes.
which used to be
Faulkner.
Okay, so they both changed their name.
Yes,
and
they've combined.
Teams that Lady Commodores have played for a long time.
Yes.
So, and what do we know briefly about Central Alabama or Coastal Alabama South?
We went 1-3 with them. They have some really good hitters. They do. We didn't play them last year, but we've played them in previous years. But they have 2 really good middles and a good outside. And so, you know, now that we've played them, we get them at home. So we get the chance to, retaliate.
So, okay, Coach. Well, the clock is flashing, so time's over with. So stay tuned, Commodore fans, and we'll be right back to talk more about Commodore Sports on the Commodore Sports Network.
Programming is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City designed to inspire natural and relaxed living with a dash of southern charm. The Sweet Bay community features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and much more. It's got all the makings of a friendly neighborhood with everything you need, just a short walk away. For more information about the Sweet Bay community, call 844-35-SWEET or go online to sweetbayfl.com.
Welcome back, Commodore fans. Coach Rooney Scovel and I are going to talk about Lady Commodore basketball. The weather cooled off a little bit, so as soon as it cools off, you got to think about basketball. But before we dive in, Coach, congratulations on another national championship. We haven't had a chance, Coach's Corner to talk about that back to back with a team last year that had some key injuries and different things. And when Pascal went down and was out for the season, and Fox was out for part of the season, Herman and I would talk about, oh man, but you went on to win a national championship.
I know, it's kind of crazy, but I think I'm learning now early on with a brand new team and a lot of new faces, just what kind of team and environment and atmosphere that we had the last few years and how special it was, and that would be the goal, is to try to get our environment and our practice and our work ethic to compare to those, and right now we're not close. So after those we can celebrate the past, and we might need to continue to celebrate the past, because we've got to go to work, and we're really behind the storm, the fall, the newness, new faces. I would say we're about to play here next weekend in a jamboree, and we've got a lot of work to do.
And when you talk about that, you can talk about last year's national championship. But that's all over with now.
It's over.
Everybody's 0-0, new teams. And how many new freshmen do we have this year?
Well, we only have 2 veteran players, that played in championship play with significant minutes. And then we have Janisha Green, that was a big part of the team as far as practice, and then Kiana Jeter, joined us at the semester. So we have 4, returners, and then we have 7 new ones. One who's having to sit out, with an injury. Hopefully we'll get her back in December. So we have a lot of newness. We have some athleticism, but we got to figure out the piece of how to play together and how to communicate and put all that together. And that's kind of what's kind of been developmentally delayed here as we get started.
Because there's a big shift between high school ball and college ball.
Yeah.
And it takes them a little bit of time. And now the majority of them have never played together.
Right.
And basketball's a team sport.
Right.
And so it takes a little bit of time.
It takes time, and then you need great communicators and great leaders, and I'm not sure. I think some of our sophomores are going to have to get uncomfortable in their own skin, because that's not their thing, to be verbal and to communicate. But they're going to have to get uncomfortable, because it has to come from players, and then there's not a lot of them. The last 2 years we had some big numbers. Last year we had 10 sophomores. So you had that piece, that veteran piece, and that experience, and now we have tremendous athleticism. We have kids that played on a lot of championships. If we count up all our rings of the championships that these young ladies played on, we have a lot. But somebody's got to kind of step up to the plate and say, we got to get on a mission, and right now we're a little bit disjointed on what the mission is and how we're going to do it. I think we all want to get the ring, but right now we just got to get competitive to even go out there and play some decent basketball.
Yeah, because you're looking for that floor general.
Yeah, we need it. Somebody's got to step up.
Somebody's got to say, all right, here, let's do this.
Yeah.
We got to do those pieces. Yeah. And there's a key. Volleyball's in that case. They're looking for that floor general right now.
Right.
And so, let's talk about some of the new folks that are coming in, where they came from, Coach.
Well, we took 2 internationals. We actually had signed 3 internationals, but one qualified late and made it to Syracuse, and she was the number 27 player in the country. So that was a big loss before we ever even started school, started classes. And then the other 2, Stu Gay has, hopefully she's going to be a little delayed getting back with us. Hopefully she will be able to play this year and not have to redshirt. But nice post player, can shoot the long ball, and great post moves. So not having her at practice every day is probably a big thing. And I think experience. She plays on their national team. She played on their world championship 3-on-3 team from France. So maybe she's the missing piece that when we get her back, she'll help us get that unity and that floor leader that's had the experience. So that's Stu Gay, a post player. We have Deanie DNA, as I call her. That's probably not pronounced right, but the best I can. But she goes by Dee Dee, a nice long-range shooter. So once she gets the language, I think she's going to be a nice contributor to us as far as the long ball and shooting the 3 and good fundamental basketball. So just a little bit of the language thing. We go through that with our internationals come in. Maria, probably the all-time worst at the language when she first got here, and then graduated magna cum laude when she left. So amazing. So expecting the same from Dee Dee. And so we have the 2 internationals, and then we have, there are 4 people coming back. And then we have some new ones. We have Alexis Dye from Birmingham, won 4 back-to-back state titles. Tremendous athlete, and she seems to be creeping into her own here, a little bit slow and coming, but I have a lot of expectations of her to do well. Maybe the possibility of double-doubles if she gets going. She's been a nice asset to the team so far. We have Nakia Kinsey and Shay Collins that are new point guards. So it's awfully tough to come into Gulf Coast and learn how to play the pace that we want to play and manage the team and communicate. And you're not the sophomore, so the communication thing you're a little bit hesitant to do that. So hopefully those 2 will get some significant minutes, expecting that from both. They both can shoot the long ball, and they're quick, and they're good defenders. Replacing Ty on the defensive end, that's filling, even though Ty was a little person, some big shoes to fill. And then Keyshawn Johnson is a combo 3-4 player that can face up, good body, good athletic body. And so we're expecting some good things from her. And then Dominique Banks is a 6'5" player, long arms. It looks like she might be a nice shot blocker as we move on. But, right now it's just a matter of us figuring out how to do all this together, not just these. You've heard some nice pieces, but we got to put these pieces together and put the pieces of the puzzle together. And the puzzle is a little bit disjointed and all over, and we can't figure out where the ends start and, where's the stability of the puzzle to get it started and the corner pieces put in place. And so right now, the puzzle is a little bit jumbled up, and we got to get the pieces together a little bit more.
Now we talk about point guards. Point guards really make us go or not go on the floor.
Yeah.
And you got 2 freshmen trying to play that role. That's a big piece there.
It is.
But now, if they step up, they come from talent. They've got the talent to play. And having 2 point guards is also a nice thing.
Yeah, last year Shayla Bennett had to come in, and she's more of a shooter, and we would surely like to just keep her at the shooting position this year, but we've practiced her at the point. If we need that veteran to kind of get in there and take over things with a little bit of comfort, then we have that advantage, because Shayla did play a lot of point guard last year, but hopefully we can move her to that 2 spot and 3 spot and let her worry about shooting, because we definitely, in replacing Taylor Emery, we got to find somebody that can do that a little bit, and Shayla probably has that potential, probably a little bit better long ball shooter than Taylor, and all the mid-range stuff is coming. It's a work in progress. So hopefully we can leave Shayla over there shooting and not have to run the point so much.
And Taylor Emery is some big shoes, because when we really needed points at times, she found them somewhere. And so those are huge shoes for somebody to try to step into.
Absolutely.
Now, we're a little bigger in the post than we were last year.
Yeah, our post game is deep, and as we get ready here in the fall, we haven't even had Stu out there at practice, and I think that's going to be a huge, that's going to be a nice shot in the arm come December, we hope, fingers crossed. But we do have some depth in the post. We have some nice athletes with Alexis and Jalea Dunlap back, who, hopefully she'll kind of live up to All-American preseason status, and then we have Keyshawn Johnson and Dominique Banks. So we definitely have some depth to where we can run some people in, and they're all uniquely different. So we have a little bit of depth in the post, probably more so than last year.
And in the post last year, at the national tournament, we had our hands full a couple of games.
We did, trying to guard 6'7" with 5'10" was difficult, but our shooting got us out of a lot of trouble a lot of times. So I think this time we are going to have to rely on the post game, because I'm not sure our perimeter shooting is as strong at this point in time. It's not where it was at the end of last year, but it's not time yet.
Yeah, it's not time. You don't want to peak right now.
No, we're far from that.
And so now, so we're going to go next weekend and some scrimmage games, and then following weekend, and then
a couple more weeks and we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. We time on for real.
It's ready. It's a good season, and we're jumping out here again and got a big target on our back, I think, and hopefully we're up for the challenge. But we have a lot of work to do between now and then.
Yep. And so repeating the national champions, and just take all that out. Just being in the Panhandle Conference. Just trying to get out of the Panhandle Conference.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the Panhandle Conference. What's everybody else kind of look like right now, Coach?
Well, everybody's strong. You know, Tallahassee has two of their best players back. Chipola has signed some really nice players. Northwest is up their ante a little bit with their signing. And then Pensacola, they had some nice. I just talked to her the other day and said, I really liked how hard your kids played. And if you added some size and depth to that, you're going to be pretty tough. And you know, she didn't say anything, so but I do think that Pensacola, I think everybody is a little bit better, and I'm not sure that we're better. On the roster looks good, but that unity, we got to get that. So the Panhandle, and then this year the rules change. Only the top two are going to the state tournament. So that piece is out. You don't get to squeak in that last and try to get that third place spot to get to the state tournament. But so only two of us are going, and we're going to do everything we can to be one of those two. And it's time. It's ready to go play, and let's get on with it and get started and get it over too.
So, well, that's the thing here. You know, it's that taking that one piece out in the Panhandle Conference, because 3 or 4 teams are as good as some of the other teams that'll be in the state tournament.
Absolutely.
Or some that will be in the national
tournament. Absolutely.
So, in other words, and that'll make it tough when you do that.
Absolutely.
And this year, we go to Chipola in Northwest Florida twice, and the other teams we have here twice. What's your thoughts on that, Coach?
Well, you know, there's some years when you look at rosters, you think, oh, I wish I could have gone over, you know, but at the end of the day, you know ahead of time what you have to do, and you just got to hope that you have a team that's good enough to compete, and we know what our branding is in the Panhandle. It makes it fun, it makes it exciting, and you know, at the end of the day, this is the year that you hope that so-and-so's not off if you got to go to their place twice, but it never really works out that way for us. It always seems like whatever the advantage is, we don't get it. But you know, we're going to go play. We're going to get out here and do the best we can. But again, we have a lot of work to do.
Yep. So and it'll take a little while to gel it.
Absolutely.
You know, because the first part of the season is getting ready for the second part of the season.
Yeah.
Because the second part of the season allows you to hang banners or do things and move on.
Right.
And there's 2 things in there, but that first half is so important, especially for a team that is
young,
all young and haven't played together, and it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, they played in big games.
Yep.
So that piece of it, but if they can figure out how to play together, you never know.
Yeah, well, we're going to see here very shortly.
We're going to find out. So, so it's coming right around the corner. So, with that, Coach, I think we look forward to some scrimmage games and get ready to get at it. So
one piece, we are doing the E-team sponsor again, so that's going to launch. One team already did launch volleyball, and the rest of us are launching October 4th. So if anybody wants to donate to Commodore Athletics, they can go on our website, gcathletics.com, and link in there, and we sure can use any help possible from the community.
And it takes a lot to run an athletic program. And to move teams around and put them in uniforms and you know, all the pieces there. So whatever Commodore fans can do to help there, that goes a long way.
Absolutely,
and being
greatly
able
appreciated.
to keep the tradition and things that they
Yes.
expect from. So for Coach Rooney Scovel, I'm James Spaxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.
This has been Coach's Corner with your host, James Baxley.